technical difficulties. I also put a filter on, which I was trying to figure out how to add a filter during a live. Hi. I'm getting caught up to speed today. Today definitely feels like a Wednesday to me this week. I wanted to kind of first talk about why I decided to do small goals. So WeChat Wednesday, small goals this week. And this subject of small goals and setting small goals and how important it is kind of came up because a lot of people were talking about how the burnout episode really meant a lot to them. And they were talking about how celebrating small wins. And I was like, well, and I kept realizing, I kept saying, I was like, it's really about also setting reasonable goals. Like sometimes I think we go, I want to get into a workout plan, or I want to get into eating healthy. And we go, okay, on Monday, I'm going to run 10 miles. Or I'm just going to stop eating all those things that I love, my guilty pleasures. And it's just not sustainable. Like you run 10 miles in one day, or you run whatever it is, and then you do it a second day and you're so burnt out and you're so tired and your muscles are so sore that you end and you quit your goal, a week into it. And then that can be really deflating. You feel like, oh, I'm never going to do it. And I know that feeling, and I know a lot of people struggle with it. And so I just wanted to make sure I verbalized that setting these small goals really is amazing. It's proven, I'm not an expert, but it's proven to like give a dopamine hit when you complete a goal. So it's like, if we can just set a bunch of small goals and complete those small goals and get those little dopamine hits that then get us to the next goal. I think it's interesting. I had this idea about wanting to do small wins and celebrating small wins last week. Probably by like Friday, I knew I was like, I want to do small wins. And I actually incorporated it a lot this week. And I have to say, I'm so much less burned out and happier because I've set these really small goals, and every small goal I've set, I've been able to accomplish along the way. And other ones, I'm like, I don't have time to do that, but I'm going to do 5 minutes of something that'll help make that easier later, and then come back to it later when I have the time. And it's really made a difference. So, that's pretty much where it came from. And it felt very much linked and tied into the entire conversation about burnout and celebrating the small wins. So small goals as well, or reasonable goals if we want to say less than small goals. So thank you everyone for engaging in the question box. I feel a little out of it today for some reason. I don't know why. Coffee is not working, but I'm okay with that. So I wanted to go through some of the small goals that you guys said you set, and then kind of just talk through it. I'm keeping comments on because I think I'm getting a good balance of being able to read and try to engage without it being too distracting to those that are trying to tune in. And it's interesting also, I wanted to say for everyone that has purchased and listened to the audiobook, thank you. My running joke has basically been like, I can't believe you guys aren't sick of my voice yet. And then WeChat Wednesdays is me talking more, and people are like, I listen to you on the way to work or from work. And I'm just like, now I'm getting very self-conscious of my voice. And I'm like, okay, talk slowly and intentionally. So for those that purchased and got the audiobook, I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thank you for all your support and love. And I hope no one is getting sick of my voice yet with these WeChat Wednesdays. And I hope they're beneficial. For the most part, I've heard a lot of people that are really enjoying the WeChat Wednesdays. So thank you. Thanks for engaging, guys. Okay, so some people set some really, just the simple fact of taking one day at a time. That is a great small goal. I'm just going to read some so people can relate or not. Make at least one home-cooked meal a week. That's actually sometimes harder than it sounds. I struggle with that. Go for at least one walk this week. I think that's really important. I think I used to not do that, and I think it's really important to try to just get outside. I think sometimes we think like, oh, if I'm gonna go on a walk, it's gotta be 30 minutes. It's gotta be like, like a 10-minute walk. I realized, what could I accomplish? Like, I walked like a mile in 20 minutes or something like that with just walking. And I was like, oh, so I'm just going to go on a walk for a mile, half a mile, whatever the goal is you want to set. But set it small. Set it reasonable. Someone said I cook every day. I wish I was like you. I wasn't raised in a house where we cooked a lot. So Sorry, that was a distraction. Where we cooked a lot. So I don't know how to easily cook. It's not in me, sadly. So cooking, I love doing it, but it takes a lot of time and energy because I don't have the comfort level to just be like, oh, a little dash of this, a little dash of that. I don't have those instincts. Do one Sudoku puzzle. I used to do a Sudoku puzzle before bedtime. I think that's a great one. And it always felt really this nice accomplishment right before bedtime. Although the flip side was, is if I couldn't get the Sudoku, like I started doing harder ones, then I would actually be a little upset and frustrated. Listen to one episode of a new podcast. I think that's a great small goal, especially if it's a podcast. I'm starting to listen to some, but more and more, but some that are more health and mental health, wellness, all that kind of stuff. I kind of like it. It feels like I went and took a little class while I was driving, which anyone who lives in a city where there's tons of traffic, which LA has, getting to actually utilize that time in the car is quite satisfying. So I would say if you have the time and you're sitting in a car, podcasts, absolutely, or audiobooks. Do between 1,000 to 2,000 steps a day. This is really important. I've been wearing my Apple Watch a lot, and I realized I was not logging as many steps as I wanted to. On average, I was doing about 4,000 a day, and that felt crazy to me on weeks that I didn't work out and stuff. And some days, like this person said, it's 2,000. So setting goals for just 1,000 to 2,000 steps a day that's actually what I guess I'm saying is it's not as small of a goal as I think, because I thought I was always logging more, but I guess I wasn't. Write in the journal every day. Or, if you've never written in a journal, write in a journal once a week. Set a goal of like once a week. That's a small goal if you've never done a journal. Because sometimes when I first started writing in journals, I would sit there just like meditation. Well, meditation, I would get angry, but when I first started, but journaling, I would sit there and just stare at the page. And I had this weird thing that I was like, whatever I write has to be perfect. It's like I'm reading a book and someone's going to read it. Like, it's a journal. Now I ramble. Sometimes I forget what I'm saying halfway through a sentence while I'm writing. And I'm like, I literally write like, I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, and I go to the next one. So journaling, just try to, if it's something you don't do, just try to journal once a week. But if you do journal, maybe try to set like every day. Great small goal. I love journaling. Everyone knows I love journaling. Clean my room. Depends who you are. Sometimes that's not a small goal. I do like organization. So for me, tidying up my room, it's already pretty clean. Drink more water. This is a great goal. And it's a great small goal because it could just be one extra cup of water a day. I've been bad for some reason, and it's been very obvious because of the weather change. The weather's been shifting, things are drier, and I haven't been drinking as much water, so it's been very obvious. I'm gonna take a sip. Intermission break. Sending that important email I need to send. I started doing something that'll hopefully help. I feel like I stress a lot over emails, a lot. And I reread it and reread it and reread it and reread it. And it causes a lot of anxiety. And what I started realizing is on my to-do list will be, I need to send those emails. And what I'll do is the night before or that day at nighttime before I go to bed, I'll draft an email. Just draft it. And sometimes if you have anxiety about like, oh my God, am I going to accidentally send it? I just don't put the person to. I just draft it without the who it's getting sent to. And I draft an email and I kind of review it. And then I go to sleep and I sleep on it the next morning. I try to make it be my first thing in the morning. So I drafted it the night before. My brain had time to think about it while I was sleeping. And I wake up the next morning, I review it, I check for any typos, and I send it. And that has really helped me because I'm not kidding you. Back in the day, I used to sit and stress about an email maybe for an hour sometimes, if it was something that I felt was really important. So sometimes, I try to get the emails out first thing in the morning during coffee, and the part that's really helped is drafting them the night before. So I hope that helps you too, but that's a nice way to kind of achieve a small goal because emails can be small goals, but then when you go to do it, it sometimes, for me especially, took up way more time than I wanted it to, and that I actually had the time for it to. Do my Duolingo every day. I mean, currently, everyday Duolingo has been a bigger goal than a small goal. But doing Duolingo at least once or twice a week is what seems to be more manageable right now. Finish my puzzle. Do you see that puzzle? This wasn't mine. Someone also has a puzzle that they're trying to finish. Best of luck. I try to sit down and do a little bit of it, but it seems to not be happening these days. I have to get up so quickly. Replace one sugary drink with water. That's a good one. That's an easy one. Even if you say it's not replacing, but just drinking that water. Like, okay, for every sugary drink I drink, I'm going to drink a cup of water. Or for every 2 sugary drinks, if that's something that's an issue for you, I'm going to drink a cup of water. Set realistic goals, if you guys get what I'm getting at. Like, stop holding ourselves to some unrealistic standard that we can't achieve. We want to be super people, super women and men, but we're not. Like, the sad truth is, like, we only can handle so much. That's a harsh truth that I had to come to the realization of. So set the small goals, and those little dopamine hits really do add up, and they make a difference and can make you happier because you feel like you accomplished something. So set smaller goals. Start it. I promise you it's going to help. It's going to feel good. 1 hour with no screens a day. This sometimes is sadly harder than we realize because whether I'm on my cell phone calling people or texting people or reviewing stuff or having to watch clips for something or emails, like, sadly, the screen thing is pretty hard. But if we can start, if it's really hard for you, try with 20 minutes, try 30 minutes, try for that 30 minutes before bedtime, no screens. I really am an advocate of not being on social media right before bedtime. I don't, get me wrong, I do it sometimes, but I try really hard not to because I do think it messes with my sleep. Spend 10 minutes in nature a day, which could also be part of your 10-minute walk a day. And nature can be whatever's around you. Nature, I think, just means outside. It doesn't mean, because I used to do this to myself, it doesn't mean you have to go on that hour-long hike out in nature. Or you have to drive 30 minutes to go to a place in nature to walk for 10 minutes. Just get outside. Get outside amongst the trees and the fresh air. And I say fresh air living in LA. Like, just car exhaust. But that being said, just get out in whatever fresh air you have. And that, to me, would be nature. Calling a friend I haven't spoke to in a while. Do it. You won't regret it. It's always nice. Even car rides, if you're not doing an audiobook or a podcast or listening to some music that cheers you up, call a friend. Even if, listen, it's the best time. I know sometimes they're like, oh, you're calling me during the car ride. I'm like, yeah, but it's the 10 minutes I have, so let's definitely chat. So I love that. I love calling friends in the car. Do homework every day. Every day sounds like a lot. Depends if you're in school, in actual college, yes. Chipping away at homework every day. I remember I went through a phase where I definitely procrastinated. I can't even say the word. I definitely procrastinated a lot with homework back in the day. And the truth is doing a little bit of homework every little bit of each day. You know, chip off 10 minutes here, 30 minutes there, whatever. Or I don't know, some people are I've talked to some people in nursing school and you're just in it. So I apologize. You're definitely doing homework every day. You do not have a choice, and I applaud you. Make sure I fold my laundry. I mean, that was what somebody said. All I have to say about folding your laundry is I don't put things in drawers. I'm more of like a hanger girl. I do not know how to fold. And if I fold things and put them in a drawer, they usually become unfolded pretty fast because I can't seem to find what I'm looking for. Anyone else agree with that? I'm looking at some of the stuff because I'm almost done with all the ones you guys said. Pausing to read some. I procrastinate with everything. Yes, I get it. I used to be worse. I'm much better, but set that small goal. If you're somebody who procrastinates, set some sort of small goal that you can achieve about something that you know you procrastinate about every time. Let's see, we got a couple more. Oh, update my resume. That's a good one. That can actually be, to make it more of a small goal, because updating a resume can be kind of stressful, is like, just chip away at it. Say you're going to spend like 15 minutes a day today on that resume. And that could just be reviewing it, taking it in. What do you think's missing? What do you think it needs? Do you want to put a different letter of recommendation on there? Do you want to reach out to a friend about writing a letter of recommendation, or a coworker or a boss? You know, just take a look at the resume. If you're the person that was like, I want to update my resume, just take a look at it. Start there. That's a win. And then the next day you'll think of some ideas and, you know, eventually you'll update it completely. Go to bed at an earlier time, at least 3 times this week. That's good. That's good. That's a good one. I get that that's hard too, though. That sometimes is try with 1. If that's hard for you, try one time a week. Just start each day with a smile on my face. That is a good one. Sometimes that's harder than others for some of us when we're going through tough times, but definitely try to just wake up. I would say a small goal and also a small win is to wake up, hopefully wake up feeling good. And I get that that's hard. If you wake up exhausted and not feeling good, or exhausted and just wanting to go back to bed, it's hard to wake up smiling. But try to look out the window, try to make a really good cup of coffee. Like, those are things that I also think are really important. I will say, my coffee routine is extensive, and maybe one day I'll talk about this. I put adaptogens in my coffee. I do a yummy creamer in my coffee. I really like cashew milk in my coffee, and I add cocoa in my coffee. So my coffee takes a while. I blend it. It's a thing. Oh, I add date syrup for a little sweetener. Like, my coffee these days, it's like the thing I love doing first thing in the morning. So that in itself, if I'm really tired and I just want to go back to bed and I'm not ready for the day, making that coffee puts a smile on my face. So even if you don't wake up out of bed, which a lot of people I get, you don't wake up out of bed being like, yay. Which I know I'm annoying because a lot of days I do that. But if you're not that person, which I know most people aren't, make whatever the first thing is you do in the day something you really enjoy. Is it making that coffee, whether it could just be a typical like Folgers cup of coffee and sitting by a window and looking outside and just taking those 10 minutes. I also try not to get on my phone first thing in the morning. I try to avoid it until my coffee is made and I've had a couple sips, and then I can look at my phone. Because I even think that becomes inundating, because usually there's a text message or an email or something that makes you go, okay, here we go. So to help with that smile on the face when you wake up in the morning, try to find those things that you really cherish. For me, I spend the money and I take the time to make a really bougie cup of coffee at home. So yeah. So yes, this is all about, again, for those that are kind of just hopping on, this is all about creating realistic to-do lists, realistic goals, expectations, and not being so hard on ourselves. I think that's the big thing that I kind of keep reiterating too, is we just have to give ourselves a little bit of grace. We can only do so much in the day. There's only 24 hours in a day. I am someone who loves to write things down because I forget. But I've had to learn that just because I write them down doesn't mean I have to get them all done today. So I write them down and I try. I have a lot of Post-it notes everywhere. When it comes to, if you're someone who likes to write things down or wants to start writing things down on Post-its, I'll have my list of things I need to get done. Like, anytime an idea comes up that doesn't need to be done today, I'll write it down. And then I have a Post-it note of the stuff that I'll make the night before. It helps to get it out of my brain. And I'll just quickly on a Post-it note or in notes on my phone, write in, the 5 things that need to get done. That phone call to so-and-so, that email to so-and-so, whatever that needs to get done. And that's what I set these realistic, because I used to just look at this to-do list that was a page, like we're talking a full 8x10 page long. And I'm sitting there trying to get everything done. And that's when procrastination would set in, because I would go, okay, well, what's the one thing on the list that I want to get done? And it's not going to be scary to get done, and I can get it done, but it's going to take up my time. And I'm also avoiding getting the important thing done. So I did that. For anyone who else does that, we kind of avoid the more important things that we have to get done. And so the little long list exists. I have it so I don't forget the things. But I also have these little lists that I set realistic goals the night before, going, this is what I'd really like to achieve tomorrow and I think is achievable tomorrow. And some of those things on that list are the things that I need to achieve. So I think setting those realistic goals is really important. Oh, Ford's making noises. Like, what is that noise I'm hearing? Let's see. So this was a question. Why do we often feel completely overwhelmed when we look at big long-term goals? I don't know. I don't have all these answers, guys. I'm figuring it out like you are. But why do we often feel completely overwhelmed when we look at a big long-term goal? Because long-term stuff is scary. We can't predict the future. I mean, that's at least the way I see it. And we all know how life is. You set a goal and you go, I'm going to do this in a couple months. And the truth is 10 things are going to pop up that you didn't expect. You're going to get injured. Someone's going to get hurt. Maybe you're doing a workout long-term goal and you pull a muscle. There's always going to be something that happens. And that can really be overwhelming when you're trying to set these goals. It's why I like short-term goals. I have long-term dreams. I have a vision board. I have things I really want to achieve. But I just have to take it day by day. And what I'm realizing, the more I take it day by day, the more those big long-term goals are actually achievable. So try to take that in. Take it in that the baby steps are helping you reach that long-term goal. So stop looking so far ahead in the future at that end goal and start to just look at the baby steps you need now in the next couple days and maybe a week that help you get towards that goal. And again, give yourself grace. We cannot, life is lifing sometimes. We cannot predict what life is going to throw at us ever. I wish we could, but we can't. Let's see, I'm trying to read some stuff. Okay. Yeah, this is also something to talk about with big long-term goals, is that the bigger the goal, the higher the perceived cost of failure. So you're more wanting to procrastinate because you are afraid of failing. And I've talked about this with a lot of people because some people say to me, and I didn't really understand it, but a lot of people say, like, you're so fearless. I'm scared all the time of failing. Like, I don't view them as failures. I view them as lessons. I've always tried to say that. But I get it. Procrastinating that thing that you're afraid. Listen, if you're procrastinating that resume and application for that job you really want, the one you really, really want, and you're procrastinating. The truth is you're procrastinating because you don't want it to be a no. But the truth is what could happen is it could be a yes, shocker, or it could just open another door, or you could do it and then you can move on. You can okay, that job I wanted, I didn't get it. Next, what's the next thing? But sometimes we hold on to stuff, we procrastinate so much, it actually keeps us in a holding pattern that I find quite depressing when I've been in those headspaces where if I'm not willing to go towards the thing that scares me, I tend to just be stuck. And that in itself kind of just feels like this cycle of like, I just can't get out of. So try to do it. Do it. Send that email to that job that you might not get. You might not. Again, we can't predict the future. But I get it. It's the bigger the goal, the bigger the chance of, the bigger the failure, I guess is the way to put it. But try to look at those things as lessons. Let's see, what's another one? Yeah, social media is definitely a hard one. Social media is this thing that can be a beautiful thing if you use it properly and your algorithm works and you get videos that are fantastic. And it can also be this kind of what they call hustle culture, which really makes us feel like we have to have instant dramatic results immediately because we see stuff on social media and we're like, oh, they did it overnight. And I try to be as authentic as possible when it comes to even me setting my goals and being realistic and talking about when I fail at my goals or didn't achieve my goals. I should stop saying fail. Sometimes that's just, it's good to see the work. So I do think I try to find pages where they're doing like a workout journey where they show the beginning and the end. But sometimes you see just the beginning and the end and you're like, yeah, I want that. And like, hopefully read the captions or the comments. And it literally is like, it took them 2 years to get there. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing. I used to love when like so many actors would be like, I was found walking down the street. You guys, those stories are BS. Every person that's ever achieved anything worked for it. And you put in the time and it took time. And everyone who knows who's achieved anything, a high school diploma, a college degree, a specific, you wanted to get to a specific muscle mass, run certain miles, get to a point where running miles wasn't difficult. I'm trying to think of things off the top of my head. They all take time. Let's go easy on ourselves. This like instant gratification thing that I think I agree social media kind of puts on us, go easy on yourself. Social media is a little bit of a mirage. It can be great to look at and to feel empowered and motivated by, but also don't view it as like a tool to compare yourself to others or to think you're doing less than others or you're not doing enough, because that's not fair. Everyone that's created any video, it took time, it took energy, and every journey they went on definitely took time. I now feel like I'm rambling. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting through. So yes, Okay, I want to look at some comments too, but I will say small, consistent wins. That dopamine hit is amazing. I promise you, those little baby hits and those dopamine hits, they're the best. They're like eating chocolate. It really helps you actually build momentum, the baby steps, I promise you. And it helps you transform actions into a habit, which I think is also a big part of it. Is once you start doing these little steps, these little goals, these small goals, and then you start achieving them, because of those dopamine hits, you start actually building more small goals, or the small goals become slightly bigger goals. And I promise you, it becomes a habit and it feels really good. Oh yeah, so someone mentioned how I talked about how I was so happy that I cleaned out and organized my kitchen drawer, and that was a small goal for me. I think I said it on here. I can't remember. I talk so much. But something like that, like to me, that felt so good to go through. Sometimes, you know, that junk drawer you guys have in your house, do it. It's a small one. Go through it. It'll feel so good. It might take some time depending how much is in your junk drawer, but like it feels good. That's a small goal. And it gives you the confidence, it sure did for me, to then go and try to tackle an even bigger goal, which was then the kitchen drawers. So I did the junk drawer and then I did the kitchen drawers, and that felt really good. And now it's all organized and pretty and I can find things. There was one thing that someone said, it's an actionable tip, was introduce the 1 minute rule, which is if a task takes less than 1 minute, do it immediately. So I do try to do that. If something's like I can do it right now, then get it done. And that's a small win right there too. Small goal. And yeah, celebrate the small goal that you achieved. Celebrate it. Really celebrate the fact that you did that. You cleaned out the junk drawer, that you organized the kitchen drawers. It seems silly. I feel silly saying it when I said it, but like it is an achievement. It is a goal you set and you accomplished it. Don't minimize it. Give yourself like, I did that today. That is something you did today. It might not have been on your to-do list, but you had this desire to want to do it in that moment, like I did. And I cleaned it out. And at first I was like, that was silly. I wasted my time doing that. Was I procrastinating? I wasn't in that situation, but sometimes it is an avoidance to actually handle the to-do list. But in that moment, I had the time. I was free. I was in the kitchen and I was like, I want to get this done right now. So I did it, and I really celebrated it. And I'm really happy, and it puts a smile on my face. Talk about it in the morning, putting a smile on my face, that the kitchen drawers are very organized now, as is the junk drawer. I wanted to see, that was kind of the whole, I'm trying to keep them less so I don't ramble. That was 30 minutes of a WeChat Wednesday about setting small goals, baby steps. And I just want to see, I wanted to see if I can see any questions real quick. If you miss my lives, I always put them on the Instagram page. I am very much contemplating and working towards a podcast. A lot of people in here ask about that. Drink more water. Yes, that is absolutely a small goal that is achievable. Someone said getting up at 4 a.m. so I can get a workout in before work. Now, again, this could be a small goal if you're someone who goes to bed at 8, something like that. But also make sure to get a good night's sleep. And for everybody that varies. Some people are like, I feel great on 6 hours. And some people are like, I need 10 hours. So yes, getting up at 4 a.m. to get that work in would probably feel so good. But how quickly would you burn out if you're not getting enough sleep? So I love that. I think it's a small goal if it's achievable for you. I think getting up at 4 a.m. would be hard for me. I could do like a 5 a.m. and just make sure I got to bed at a reasonable time. But I'm at an age now in my life where getting, a good 7 hours is kind of necessary for me to be at my best. Take a deep breath. Someone added a bunch of their own personal work stuff, but take a deep breath. That is a small win. Sometimes, some people have, we get triggered real easily, or some people have a little bit of anger. They get frustrated quickly. They lose their temper easily. Breathing is a huge small win. It's a small goal and a small win. Breathe through something. Don't let it take over you, because the only person that anger and those little tempers and moments of like reactive frustration affect are you. So taking a deep breath, that's a great small goal. I'll do a couple more. Go to school. That might be yeah, go do that. staying out of the chocolate. A good way to kind of navigate staying out of chocolate, because obviously I struggle with this too, is limit your chocolate at first. Cutting out anything that you love is never going to end well, because then you're going to cut it out and it's going to be for a couple of days and be like, yeah, I did it. And then you're going to have a moment of weakness and you're going to just eat all the chocolate in sight. And then you're going to feel depressed and upset about it because you disappointed yourself. So give yourself, like, maybe go splurge on like an expensive bar of chocolate. So then you know, like, oh, this was a $8 bar of chocolate. So I'm going to take my time with it, but I'm going to have 1 or 2 squares a day. I'm not going to completely not have anything. I'm just going to minimize it to something that's really good that I'm investing in. You know, just start there. That's just a pitch. That's something I've had to do. It's such great stuff. I love it. Thank you guys so much for engaging. I really love reading all of your stuff. I know I don't get to everybody's, but it really feels good to see all the stuff that gets put in the question box and to get to engage, because it feels like I'm talking to more than just myself. Working out, start small, guys. Working out is always when I say start small. I did it. I know so many people that do it. You go big super fast, and it always backfires, in my opinion. Start small. Start with a walk. If you're someone who doesn't work out at all, which is fine, start small. Go on a walk. Get some steps. Practice just getting steps in. Then maybe go to the gym. Go to a class. I always like classes because you also have someone there, or a personal trainer, that can give you corrections when you need them, because form is so important to not getting injured. And when you get injured, it really stifles your ability to make any progress with working out. And I've been there too. So take care of yourself. Me too. My nose tickles. More work on my new book, absolutely. Even if that's just a page a day. I have a lot of writer friends that I love this idea that one person told me. They set a timer for an hour a day, and whether or not they write anything or not, they sit in front of the computer with their screenwriting program up, and they try to write, and whatever comes out, comes out. And some days it's complete, crap, and other days they actually come up with something really cool. And sometimes the hour, obviously they have the ability that the hour can turn into 3, 4, 5, an entire day of writing if they feel inspired, but they at least have to sit there for an hour, and that could be 30 minutes for you. But really, if you're working on a book, try that, because I always liked that when they told me that. So try that with your book. I'll do this one because it's big. I'll end with this one. Is going to bed before midnight every day. I think if you're somebody who struggles going to bed early and then you are exhausted because you're just not getting enough sleep, pulling away from technology really helps. Like, really setting that goal, and that could be the small goal, is you're not going to get to bed before 12, but you are going to not be on your phone or any technology right before bed, and see if that helps. At least start. And then maybe just start by 15 minutes. I'm going to get in bed and be in bed by 11:15 or 11:45 or whatever. Try 15-minute increments. I also have fallen in love with magnesium at bedtime. I love it. And reading a chapter of a book or reading a couple pages really helps me get into a deep sleep. And also sometimes journaling or writing out the to-do list, because I find my brain goes a lot. So if I write out that to-do list on my phone or on a Post-it right before bed or 30 minutes before bed, it really helps me go like, okay, I don't need to stress about that. It's written down. I won't forget it. Go to bed. Take the magnesium, drink some water, read a chapter or a page, just get off the technology and see if that helps. So yeah, that was fun, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Go easy on yourself. Give you guys some grace. These are things I have to say to myself all the time, by the way. I'm saying them to you because I say them to myself. And really set small, achievable goals and celebrate the small, achievable goals when you achieve them. And you will avoid burnout and go easy on yourself. We're not superhuman as much as we want to be. So I hope you guys have a great day. I love this. I'm very calm today because I am slightly tired today. It feels like a Wednesday, but yeah. But I've already set some small goals. I already achieved them, so I'm already feeling good and have a smile on my face. So I hope everyone has a great day. It was great getting to talk with you, and yeah, I'll see you guys next Wednesday for whatever it is. I might also be doing some question box about some other stuff too, so stay tuned for all of that. And if you guys have gotten the audiobook, thank you so much. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm obviously very anxious and nervous to hear everyone's feedback, but I'm really grateful to have been asked to voice Jenna in. Enjoy. There was a spam call. Is there a way to get rid of those, by the way? Anyways, have a great rest of your day and night, or wherever you are in the world. Take care of yourself and go easy on yourself. Bye.